It is now my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Tracy Powers. Tracy opened her first retail sales store in 2009 in Newport News, her second retail resale store in 2012. She brings years of business acumen with specialty in human resources, sales leadership, marketing, and team development. She has created programs to drive efficiencies in stores that have been implemented in stores across the country. Please welcome Tracy Powers.
Thank you, Raymond, and hello, Coliseum Central. I'm Tracy Powers, and I am so glad to be with you this morning. I, like you, am a fellow small business owner, and while a lot of things in our lives might be different, we have a lot of things in common because we are entrepreneurs. And it doesn't take very long to generate a list on Google of characteristics people say we as entrepreneurs embody. One such list says that while our businesses may be different, we have these things in common. We're persuasive, flexible, creative, self-motivated, tenacious, and passionate. I think these are great descriptors of what it takes to be a good entrepreneur. We had a business idea at some point, and nothing was going to stop us. We charged straight ahead, hopefully after doing some good due diligence, and we started a business. And now we're business owners, and we're persuasive, flexible, creative, self-motivated, tenacious, and passionate about our business. But can these words be used to describe your approach to hiring and employee retention? Trust me, I get it. The last 24 months have been brutal in these departments. We all have the scars to show, and we could probably sit around for hours telling horror stories. But are we being persuasive, flexible, creative, self-motivated, tenacious, passionate about hiring and retention? Well, we'll spend some time today talking about this sometimes painful topic. So hopefully we can get some ideas that help us retain our good team members and get some ideas of how to find other good ones. Employee retention is an important topic for many reasons, but have you ever stopped to think about how much it costs you every time you lose an employee? Did you know there are actual costs associated to that? Here are some numbers from financesonline.com. Did you know each resignation can cost the company up to a third of a worker's annual salary? Now you may be thinking, how's that possible? 67% come from what are called soft costs, like reduced productivity. But 33% come from hard costs, like recruiting, hiring temp workers, and things like that. Reduced productivity can come from being a person down, or even having to hire a new person who has to train. While they're training, they're not as productive as an employee who has been with you and is fully trained. No matter how great a new hire is, they take time to get fully up to speed, and they can take months, maybe even years, to fully connect with your customer base. So think of the time you lose having to recruit, hire, and train. This all takes away from your work on your business because you're working in your business and not on your business. So what's the hard number? According to Bloomberg, the retail sector has been experiencing staff turnover at 5% per month. So to put that in perspective, if Walmart followed the average each year, they would lose 60% of their workforce every year. Now, the average retail salary is $10.16. Obviously, they're not in Virginia because we know that's not our minimum wage anymore. But the cost to replace them would be 16% of their annual wage, or $3,500. So if we applied that to Walmart, who has 500,000 low-wage workers, they would lose $1 billion a year just in turnover. So think about this for your small business. The cost per person is $3,500. How many people did you lose last year? How many people did you lose the year before? Have you ever thought about saying that's $3,500 walking out the door? $3,500 walking out of the door. So let's talk about why do people leave? Here are some numbers. Number one reason people leave is for better compensation, or they leave to have work-life balance, or they leave because the employer did not recognize them, or they were not a good fit for their company. Those are the top 4 reasons people leave. So let's think about the reasons they stay. They stay because of work-life balance. They stay because they're recognized. They stay because of compensation, and they stay because they have a good working relationship with their managers. So if you think about those 2 lists, it's really the same thing. If the pay is right, they stay. If the pay is not right, they leave. If work-life balance is good, they stay. If it's bad, they leave. If they get the recognition they desperately need and want, they stay. If they don't, they leave. If compensation is right, they stay. If it isn't, they leave. And if they have a good working relationship with others, or another way to say this, if there's a cultural fit, they stay. If it's not, they leave. So let's talk about some concrete things we can do to keep good team members. The first thing you need to hear is employee retention starts with hiring. Now, you don't know this, but with the help of Raymond, I have been secretly spying in your businesses. I've been sitting in on some of your interviews, and I've compiled a video of some of the greatest hits of some of the interviews we've all had lately. Let's take a look.
There's no jobs for manager, it's just for counter.
Good. I'm looking for the least possible amount of responsibility.
Mr. Huff, Mr. Jenner is ready for your interview.
Actually, we'll be interviewing as a team.
We're all in this together, and I wanted to put across the general idea rather than the details. Like, people get all hung up on details. Like, which school did I go to? How many O grades did I get? Could be like 6, could be none. It's not important. What is important is that I am, yes?
Do you have any special skills?
Oh, yes. I do. I do voices.
What are your skills, girls?
Oh, we can dance. You mean like dancing? We're really good dancers.
Yes!
We've come to this planet looking for intelligent life. Oops, we made a mistake.
We're happy to be in America. Don't ask for a green card.
I want you in the worst way.
Mr. Matsumoto.
Moto.
Martha, can I call you Martha?
No, you may not.
Okay.
Human resources lady.
It's Pam.
I'm sorry. Well, Pan.
No, my name is Pam.
Are you saying Pan or Pam?
I'm saying Pam. Yeah, I'm sorry. Who's this gentleman sitting behind you?
Hello, Ms. Lady.
I have fast food experience.
Yeah, like 20 years ago.
Do you have any experience?
No, sir, I have no experience, but I'm a big fan of money. I like it. I use it. I have a little. I keep it in a jar on top of my refrigerator. I'd like to put more in that jar. That's where you come in.
We're not generally comfortable in an office setting, I would say.
I get cooped up.
Not so task-oriented, not a workhorse.
I also get headaches from computers, so I can't be around them for too long.
I take stuff.
If you're looking for a Clydesdale, I'm probably not your man.
We're slow learners, and we're not particularly good listeners. That'll be a huge problem.
We're also slow learners.
What's your policy on Columbus Day?
We work.
Really? The guy discovered the new world.
Nobody in this town works without a retainer, guys. You think you can find somebody who does? We tell you have my blessing. But I think we all know that person's not going to represent you as well as I can.
Well, our offer is $84,000 a year plus
Retainer. Retainer.
Let's do this, you guys are hired. You're in, unless you're like the weirdest guys ever and I don't see it.
Great.
I thank you for your time.
Actually, sir, I really need this job to impress a girl.
Will you leave now, please?
Please leave this office. We're done with this interview.
Do we get any sort of souvenir?
Get out of my office!
Hey, we tried, right?
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
My resume.
Okay, I know we have to laugh about this stuff or we would really cry. But it is true that employee retention starts with hiring. Hiring the right person makes all the difference. When you have the right person doing the right thing in the right environment, it's a beautiful thing. they mesh well with your team, and things move forward. Now think about when you hired the wrong person. We've all done it. We have all been there. My sister comes from the HR world as well, and she introduced me to the term in recruiting that's called a pure mistake. And it stands for previously undetected recruiting error. And we have all made a pure mistake once or twice in our life. We thought we hired the right person because they interviewed well, but once they started, we realized we have made a pure mistake here. So how do we protect ourselves from doing this over and over and over again? So here are some things to consider in your hiring process. First, have a good job description. Do you have a job description? If you have one, great. If you don't, you need one like yesterday. So what are the elements of a good job description? A good job description is going to obviously address the job title, the location, the role, the responsibilities and duties, pay, incentives, and allowances if those are applicable. If you have a job description, is it an honest job description? There is nothing worse than hiring someone who thinks they're accepting one job, but it turns out they've been asked to do a job completely different from what they thought they were doing. Ever had someone leave who said, "This just wasn't the job I thought I was getting"? Almost 1 in 3 employees who leave a job within 6 months leave because it wasn't the position they expected it to be. An honest and accurate job description can help you avoid this. This kind of job description should include daily duties and responsibilities. What are you really asking this person to do day in and day out? Be as specific and honest as you can. What personality traits do you need for this role? What does this person need to be able to do? Anyone ever hire an extreme introvert for a sales role? How'd that go? Anyone ever hire a big picture person for a very detailed, oriented role? You are probably still cleaning up from that one. Physical requirements. In your job description, be honest if the role requires someone to stand for 8 hours a day or sit for 8 hours a day. Does the job require heavy lifting? If so, be specific. Listen to some of these examples for physical requirements. The ability to lift 20, 50, or 80 pounds regularly. The ability to respond quickly to sounds. The ability to move safely over uneven terrain or in confined spaces. The ability to see and respond to dangerous situations. The ability to safely climb ladders while carrying 40 pounds. Do you hear how specific these are? Now, if someone has a torn rotator cuff or a bad back, they are probably not going to apply for a job that says you have to lift 20, 50 to 80 pounds regularly, have the ability to move over uneven terrain, and carry 40 pounds up a ladder. You also want to be able to state the qualification or experience you need. Here's a great example of some qualifications or experience for a cashier. Friendly, outgoing demeanor with a strong commitment to customer service. Ability to express oneself clearly and persuasively when making sales. Calm, professional demeanor even when confronted by discourteous customers. Must be able to stand for long periods of time and lift up to 20 pounds. Preferred, previous experience operating a cashier. Demonstrated interest in literature is a plus. This was a bookstore, obviously. One of the first things that can help with retention is having an honest and specific job description. So now you have a good, honest job description. How do you find the people? The days are long gone when posting a now hiring sign will get you the employees you need. Anyone hiring today, and I do mean anyone, needs to be leveraging social media. Now, if you're sitting here thinking, well, I don't really use social media, you need to be. And not just for hiring, but that's a presentation for another day. Leveraging social media is a great way to find new team members and increase the chance that someone you hire is already a fan of your business. Think about it. If they've liked your page and followed you, they are at least familiar with your brand and they've said, hey, I like this. Some of the greatest employees start out as customers. Social media can help you reach them. Another way to reach potential customers is through online job boards like ZipRecruiter, Snag, Indeed. That list can go on and on. There are actually HR solutions out there that are not crazy expensive where they will place your job on numerous boards at one time. I would really advise you to research these. It's a great way to get the word out very quickly. But here are some cost-effective ways to advertise your job. Posting to your company's social media page, which would include Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram. Asking family members and friends and people in your professional networks. Going to other retail stores, now this one can be a little, confrontational, and you poach someone that you got really good customer service from. And you just say, are you getting the hours you want? Are you getting the pay you want? Here's my card. That can be a great way to pick up a good employee. But don't come in my store in Newport News and do that. I'm just telling you right now. And of course, there's posting to Craigslist and other classified sites. You must be intentional about getting the word out, and social media is a rather easy way to do that. So your job description and your job post gets them to apply. What do you do once they're interested? There also needs to be intentionality in the hiring and interview process. Here are some things people are looking for. Some of the new research suggests you need to give less people more shifts. Most people are not looking for part-time work. Jobs that are successfully recruiting are offering more hours. If you hire someone part-time, they are most likely to leave you as soon as they can get more hours somewhere else. So instead of hiring lots of part-time workers, hire fewer workers who can work more hours. In addition to offering more hours, look for employees who play well with others. During the interview, seek out evidence that the applicant is engaged in the real world with real people. Do they do sports? Do they volunteer? Do they have hobbies? If your job is customer-facing heavy, you need to see that this is a person who easily relates and interacts with others and likes interacting with others. When interviewing, remember, past behavior always determines future behavior. One of the jobs I had as a teenager was at a pizza takeout place. I was a junior in high school and I was so nervous about my interview. I researched for it, I got dressed up, I was ready to impress the manager, and when I arrived, I was stunned that my interview consisted of 2 questions. If you're scheduled to work, will you show up? To which I said yes. Will you wash your hands? To which I said yes. To which she said, you're hired. Now, can you imagine the turnover in a place like that? Use the interview time as a way to glean as much information about the candidate as you can. Frame interview questions around specific situations like, give me a time when, or when was the last time you, and other behavior-based interview questions. If you are not familiar with behavior-based interview questions, I would highly recommend gaining this skill. You want to ascertain a person's behavior and not the way they want you to think they are or what they want you to think they'll do. For example, let's say the job you're hiring for is stressful. If you're not using behavior-based interview questions, you're probably asking questions like, do you handle stress well? To which they're going to answer yes or no based on what they think you want them to say. A behavior-based question would sound something like this. What has been the most stressful situation you have ever found yourself in at work? How did you handle it? This requires an open-ended answer where they have to demonstrate how they handle stress. Hear the difference in these questions. Are you a good problem solver? Yes or no? Can you give me an example of a difficult problem you solved at work? How did you go about reaching a solution? Listen to this question. Do you make mistakes? Yes or no? Tell me about a time when you made a mistake. How did you handle that experience? How about this question? Do you handle challenges well? Instead, please share a time when you faced an unexpected challenge. How did you overcome this challenge? Here's another question. Do you like conflict? Who's going to answer that? Tell me about a time when you experienced conflict at work. How did you overcome it? Another question. Do you have reliable transportation? How about this? You're leaving for your shift and your car has a flat tire. What are 3 ways you can still get to work? Behavior-based questions will help you get a better feel for your candidate because it takes away yes and no answers. And behavior-based questions help you estimate the future performance of a candidate by looking at their past behavior. We have all heard the saying, the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. So you really need to look at all the different ways you can assess past behavior. Behavior-based questions definitely help with this in the interview process, but you can also gain some information just from their application. One place I always look is their reason for leaving. If you have someone and on their application they leave a job every 3 months or less, and the reason for leaving is toxic work environment, bad managers, bad coworkers, do you see a pattern? I see a very clear pattern. I see someone who doesn't make it 3 months at a job, and their reason for leaving is never themselves. It's someone else or something else. So you know what's going to happen if you hire them. In 3 months or less, you will be the toxic work environment with the bad management and the bad coworkers. Another phrase I look for is not enough hours. If you see someone, again, who doesn't stay at jobs long and their reason for leaving is not enough hours, what does this tell you as a business owner just off the bat? Have you ever had a good employee who you didn't want to give enough hours to? If the person was good, they would not have trouble getting hours. And when you see this over and over and over at different employers, it really tells you everything you need to know about that person. So use the interview to really try to get a good feel for who the candidate is, asking behavior-based interview questions, looking honestly at past behavior, and this will greatly assist you in your task. You'll also want to sell them on your work environment. Why is it a great place to work for you? Talk about your environment, your perks, your management styles, just to name a few things. Tell them about your mission and why someone would want to work for you. This is where you sell your business. Knowing who you are and saying why you are a great place will help attract the right people. Here's a great demonstration of someone who very accurately knows his work environment, and he's trying to hire people to be a good cultural fit. Take a look.
Hi there, welcome to your interview with the DMV. I'll be conducting your interview, but first things first, I noticed you were here 5 minutes early, 9:55. It's not really...
Oh, I thought it was at 9:30, so...
Oh, so technically you were super late and you don't pay attention? You could be perfect for this. Great job. You know, let's continue. We saw your resume. We were impressed by it. You turned that in.
Wouldn't you like to know? Yeah.
Well, let's get into some questions. What makes you want this job?
Oh, I'm a people person.
Are you, though? Are you?
Yep. Exes, girlfriends, just people, yeah. Big peephole person.
Oh, okay. So creepy and reclusive. That could be good.
Bless you.
You want me to be blessed? Interesting. You know what? I think we're done here.
All right, whatever. Later, man. Can you give me a ride? No.
We'll be in touch. No, we won't. Okay. Next, number 146. I'm kidding. It is the DMV, right? Please have a seat.
Hi, Jerry. Nice to meet you.
Wow, smiles and eye contact. Not a great start for this, but okay. So we see here. Do you have a college degree?
Yep. That's true. Proud Bruin. UCLA. I see LA. I see what? No, I never seen LA. What are you talking about? I'm sorry. What? Huh? What? Okay. Okay, question. DMV stands for Department of Motor Vehicle, but what would DMV stand for you if you got this job? Great question, sir. To me, I would want it to mean determined, motivated, and vibrant. Ooh, actually, we were looking for something more like difficult, mean, vicious. But you know, you're not right for this. Get out. I'm sorry? What? Skedaddle. Yeah. Thanks for waiting, though. DMV joke. Bye. Next. Jeez, hopefully I have better luck with the next guy. Sir, it's like 11:15 in the morning.
What are you, my dad?
I like you. Okay, you know what? Why do you need this job?
I got canned from Subway. They told me I was too sad.
Wow, that's not easy to do. Okay, what about what job did you have before that?
Before that, I was a toll booth operator, and I bailed because it was too complicated.
Wow. Okay, that's impressive. Okay, let's get into some hypotheticals. Let's really get going. How often would you tell people, have a nice day?
Why would I want them to have a nice day? Why would I say that?
That was a test and it's a perfect answer. Okay, how about this? Let's say you have to go from wearing one mask to two, and there's a partition in front of you. Would you make any effort at all to raise your voice? No. Wow, okay, did you bring your resume? I'd love to see it.
Yeah. Here's a copy.
Actually, we need the original version. We don't even, we just mess with people sometimes. That'll work. Okay, final, biggest question. Let me paint a picture for you. A customer comes. It's a Tuesday. They've taken PTO for this. They've been waiting for 6 hours. They come up to you. They have 7 of the 8 proper documents. They're missing one. You could easily help them out, print it off for them. What do you do?
I tell them to screw off, send them back, and make another appointment. See you in a month. Not my problem.
When can you start?
Whoa, sit, get away. Okay, back up.
Yeah, you got it. Yes, keep that energy up. We can't wait for you to be the face people see when they're going through one of the worst adult experiences known to man.
Anyone ever been to DMV? He definitely knows the culture he's hiring for. But what about yours? Every hire affects your work environment, your culture. You want to be sure that you can get hiring the right person to come in off the bat. There's nothing worse than hiring someone who's a bad fit for your team. This will kill morale very quickly, and the absolute worst scenario is losing one of your good people because they don't want to work with your bad hire. So in the hiring process, have an honest job description in your job posting and be very intentional in the interview process. And hopefully this will net you some good team members. Once hired, we need to put a focus on training. 76% of new employees say they want on-the-job training. The National Federation of Independent Businesses says it this way: the process of hiring a new employee doesn't end when the offer is accepted. A key part of onboarding new team members is training. Having a good training process in place is crucial for making new hires feel comfortable at your company. It's also a great opportunity to communicate your business culture, to encourage good habits, and to ensure that everything aligns with the goals and strategies of your business from the beginning. So do you have standard training around best practices for your business model? If every person who joins a team is trained in a systematic way, that ensures that your employees' needs are being met through proper training. Most retail training tends to be sink or swim. I show you one time, I walk away, and I really just hope you got it. But focusing on intentional training creates better customer service and reduces turnover from frustration. The National Federation of Independent Businesses recommends these 7 tips for training new employees. First, start slow and be flexible. A new hire tends to be nervous, eager to please, and excited all at the same time. They will also get information overload very quickly, but most likely will not want to tell you because it'll make them look bad. For this reason, you want to start slowly with training. If a person seems to catch on quickly and seems eager to learn more, you can obviously speed up, but it's best to start slow. Provide electronic documents whenever you can. If you don't have a company handbook or policies online, you should consider adding this information to password-protected sections of your website or emailing it to new members for their first day. It's easy to misplace corporate documents, but having this information online means they can refer back to these very easy anytime. Check in more than you think you should. A daily check-in with new hires for the first week or so may feel like overkill, but it's better than the alternative of having an employee feel lost, forgotten, or unsure about what to do next. You might want to give them someone to shadow. New hires will find it easier to adjust to your team if they can receive some training from someone who does similar work. If you've never studied self-efficacy, then you know one of the things that helps someone achieve a goal is seeing someone like them who's already doing it. A new hire is also more likely to ask a peer questions than an owner. So leverage your existing team in the training and let them be part of the process. Don't forget to train on company value, visions, and goals. New hires should understand your business mission, your objectives, your goals off the bat. They should have a very good idea of these things from the interview process. Introducing this information very early in the onboarding process is a great way to establish the right kind of attitude and culture for your new employee. Be sure to give them a new task. Many people learn better by doing than just hearing. So be sure to give the new employee something they can do. It will help them be busy, but it will also build their self-confidence, seeing that they've been given a little thing that they've done well. Be sure to give feedback. After a week or two, make sure to gather feedback from your new hire about the training process. Is there something they learned or something they'd like to learn? Was it too much? Was it too fast? Take this feedback into account for future employees and training sessions. And a final key to retaining employees is knowing what matters to them. 83% of employees are happier when they are recognized in their workplace. Recognition leads employees to feeling more confident and respected, which feeds into overall employee satisfaction. Just like you don't want to skimp on employee recognition, affirmation goes a long way with morale and retention. So let's talk about a healthy work environment. Employees like and need to be heard. Employees always want their issues resolved quickly. Listening to them and treating them as individuals, not just people who work for you, is a key to employee retention. Here are two visual examples of what happens when employees are not listened to and the work environment is not healthy. I don't know about you, but my stomach turns whenever I see these things online. The first one was a Jimmy John's, and the owner posted, "This location is temporarily closed due to labor shortages. We are in the process of restaffing to return to normal hours and would like to apologize for any inconvenience. Thank you for your patience." Now, what kind of work environment was going on in this Jimmy John's that the employees posted another sign? And it says, "There is no labor shortage. The owner of this establishment treated their employees like dogs, never once helping us out. They don't even live in Florida. All employees, including management, were students and did a great job keeping the store running with no help from the owners. The past few months of crappy business have been the result of lazy, careless ownership." Wow, there was some major stuff going on in that work environment that was not being addressed. The picture next to this one is a Journeys shoe store, and this was posted at the peak of back-to-school season. "Dear Jamie, since you decided to say cancer is not an excuse and think it's okay to swear at your employees like you do all the time, we quit. This is why you can't keep a store manager longer than a year. You abuse your role and staff enjoy the fact that you lost a store manager, co-manager, and key holder in the middle of back to school. Thanks next time you treat people the way you do. We aren't allowing it anymore. Nikki, Jess, and TJ." Now these are extreme examples, but this is why you need to ask your team what is going well and ask if some things are going wrong. Don't try to fake interest in their lives, but express real concern when you can. Employees will stay at a job where they feel heard, where their concerns are addressed, and where they feel appreciated. Now, we can't talk about retention without discussing the elephant in the room, and that is minimum wage increases. We are all feeling this. Before 2022, I always prided myself on paying my employees not above minimum wage, but well above minimum wage. But with the ever-increasing minimum wages, I can't afford to do that anymore. And people who have been with me for a long time are now thinking, well, I don't make that much more than the new people. So the conversations have already started about raises. When these conversations start, keep in mind the true cost of losing that person. Giving someone $1 more an hour will cost you $2,080 a year if they're full-time. Losing them will cost you approximately $3,500. So do the cost-benefit analysis and make an informed decision for your business. I think it's better to pay good people more and keep them than lose them. But again, you have to do what's right for your business and your model. Another thing we need to do is give consistent feedback. How often do you give this to your team? Of course, there's everyday feedback you give throughout the course of work, but how often do you do formal evaluations where you set about a time to talk about their performance and how they're feeling about their work? 60% of respondents reported that they would like feedback on a daily or weekly basis, and this number jumped to 72% for employees under 30. More than 75% of respondents believed feedback is valuable. There are lots of reasons employees might not be receiving the feedback they desperately need. Maybe we're coddling the next generation of workers. Maybe we just have a fear of confrontation. But most likely, it's the excuse of all excuses: we're just too busy. If you want to keep your good team members, you must make time for feedback and be intentional with on-the-spot feedback. One of the things I instituted the past 18 months is I always have Chick-fil-A and Starbucks gift cards on hand. They're in the safe waiting for me. When someone does something right, maybe it was using brand standard language, or they just mastered a process that we've been working on for a long time. They just gave phenomenal customer service, or they picked up a shift when someone calls out. When that happens, I give them a gift card on the spot in front of the team and say thank you. I noticed you picked up that open shift. I wanted you to know how much it helped. Thank you. Or I really appreciated you making that offer using brand standard language. That always helps the offer process go more smoothly. I just wanted you to know I heard that. Thank you. Little things go a long way, so get curious about what motivates your employees, what they need. How can you create an environment of employee engagement that makes it easy for people to do their best work? This way, you reduce your high turnover costs, you improve culture, and you create a place where employees truly feel appreciated. You can bring in meals, snacks, little gifts, but remember the IRS implications if you do that. But have you thought about your break room? How nice is it when they go to take a break? These little things go a very long way. Anne Obrowski suggested this: great employees are not born. They are developed in business atmosphere where training is stressed, individuality is encouraged, and personalities are respected. Word travels about the work environment in all sizes of stores. The key to recruiting great employees is promoting and possessing a positive work environment, no matter how large or small you are. We can accomplish this by being intentional in the hiring process, being intentional with training, and creating an environment where people feel valued and heard and get feedback in a timely and consistent manner. So it's time to channel who we are. We need to be persuasive, flexible, creative, self-motivated, tenacious, and passionate about employee retention and hiring. Here's hoping your 2022 is a great year for you as you hire and retain good talent.